Okay, so I'm back with part two. I was like right at almost 15 minutes on that video. To let you know, I really went through some things with dude. So anyway, um, let's see. So while I was traveling, of course, I traveled within this state, and some of my territory was around where I used to live down there with him. So I still keep in touch with some of his family, and so I stopped by when I was in that area. And like basically we completely stopped talking. First we were fine. He asked me for some money one weekend, and I was like, "Are you for real? Are you for real? For real? For real?" Yeah, he crazy. He must be smoking. But anyway, I said no, I don't have it. We still talked maybe a couple of times after that, but then he just like cut off communication with me. So I'm still going through this whole thing of like, why me? You know, like why is this happening to me? What did I do to deserve this? I was good to him, but I'm still not getting it. I'm still not getting it. That hey, he was moved away from me for a reason. So when I went to see his mother, she was talking to me, telling me, "Baby, you still my daughter. You know what I'm saying? You're welcome here anytime." I had been invited to functions where I didn't go because of the fact that I didn't know if they would be there. Because yes, now it's a they. They're together, living together. Not in the house we used to live in. Now he moved in with her. But that's his MO. That's his MO. Always with somebody that's gonna take care of him. Somebody who's gonna, do whatever. But then to my understanding, she ain't going really as much. But who knows? Eventually that'll probably be over, and then to be somebody else. But through the process, um, I started journaling my life. I started, and then just like internally, I was in journaling my life. Like when you were with him, Keisha, what did he really do for you? Yeah, okay. So sometime he gave me some money. Like whoa, like in 6 years, let's say you gave me about $200. In 6 years, let's say I gave you almost 10,000, not dollars, $10,000, not $10. Um, and that's just like an estimated cost because I include that with helping with his kids as well. But that's just the kind of person that I am. And then I look back on my life now, like how long it's taken me to get where I'm at now, where I could have been had I not been with him. Hmm. Yeah, 6 years. Anyway, so I basically I learned a lot about myself. I learned that I didn't need him or really need any man to have the life that I want. Now, don't get me wrong. I, I get lonely sometimes, but not lonely enough to settle for shit. Excuse my language. I'm not settling anymore. I feel like all these years that I've dated, I can count on one hand, like guys that are like really worth my time, and really like literally one hand. Um, and then I started looking back on like all the guys that I was like really really crazy about that I dated, and I'm thinking, man, he cheated on me. Man, he fought me. Man, he lied to me all the time. I mean, like emotionally, mentally, physically. He abused me in those ways. So I'm like latching this on to all the guys. Each guy that I've dated or even been really, really serious with, and I'm thinking like, well, damn, Keisha. It's like it's like a trail of the same thing. It's not like, okay, let's try something different. Also, he's nice to you. That's not enough. It's not enough. It has to be more. It has to be more. And this camera is like freaking me out how it's going through. But anyway, um, and a lot of tears were shed in these. Well, I could say the first 4 months, because the last 2 months, really, I'm a different person, and I feel it, and I know it. It's just like if he came up to me and was be like, well, Keisha, you know, I messed up and I'm sorry and I love you and let's try to see. I would tell him to go to hell. I'm sorry, point blank. I'd be like, you must have me effed up. And I'm trying to keep that clean by saying effed up. I would really hurt his feelings because I'm not the same person that I was. And I can say, thank you, Derek. Thank you for teaching me what not to accept. Thank you for teaching me the things that I didn't allow myself to see because I was using my heart instead of my mind. My mind was telling me things all the time, but I was like, no, he'll change. Oh, no, man, bump that. Bump that. You can't change anybody. They're going to be who they want to be regardless. So now, where I used to not be particular about the type of guy that I want to date, now I'm very particular. Okay, so yeah, that might be hard for me to meet somebody because no, I don't. I know there's nobody perfect. Hell, I'm not even perfect. But the point is, why settle for something when you don't have to? Why just allow yourself to be in something that you know is not working? As he said to me, maybe this is something. Maybe we're trying to make something work that's not meant to work. Really? Hmm. I wish you would have told me that 6 years ago. But it's all good. Karma is a bitch. But it's okay because now I have the victory and things that was meant for me, that God had for me, I am receiving. Everything that I receive, I accept. But this video is not so much just about me. This video is for other women, and maybe somebody who watches this video can relate to what I'm talking about and be like, hey, you know what? I feel where you're coming from, girl. I feel where you're coming from. Or I didn't think about that. Or going through it and don't know how to get out of it. I'll tell every woman in this world, do not settle. Do not accept bullshit. Do not take care of a man. Now, I know there's some men out there that, you know, they might have ailments or handicapness, you know, and they're still a good man. That's different. What I mean don't take care of a man is if he's willing and able and he got his body is able, he can get up and go work. Well, damn it, he need to go work. If you the one working and taking care of everything, and he laying around watching TV or going fishing or drinking with his boys, dump that shit. I'm sorry, excuse my language, but dump that. But I just know now that I'm worth more than what I allowed myself to deal with. I'm worth more than what I actually knew that I was worth. Because I was so busy trying to make something work that wasn't meant to work. He was not my soulmate, but for years I have known him, and you know I've always been in love with him. Am I in love with him now? Mm-mm. Do I miss him? Sometimes, but it's the good times that I think about it. Then those bad times come raining down like a hailstorm, and it's like, wake up, Keisha. No, stop, drop and roll. But real talk. Mm-mm. He could never come back. He could never come back. I allowed him to come back twice, and that was already too many times. So now I have something specific that I look at when a guy approaches me. I do not want to be your sex buddy. I'm sorry. If we get close and things work out and that's where it leads to, fine. But if I decide, hey, you know what? I just really don't want to entertain a relationship. I just want us to like date. And if I decide I want to have sex, hey, maybe. Or maybe not. But it's all about me. And that's not being selfish. That's just being real. Because it hasn't ever been about me. It's always been about the other person. So now it's all about me. What makes me happy? If that means that eventually I may not get into a relationship and I'll be by myself, well, I'd rather be by myself happy than be with somebody and be miserable. I'm too old for that. Anyway, like I said, it's a they now, so he's like living with her. And he tried to throw that off on me too, and was like, "Oh, well, you know, I saw your stuff on Facebook, and I thought you know, you were talking about some dude, and so I figured you just moved on with your life, so I moved in with her." Like, really, dude, you moved in with her the day I left. Yeah, I found out. For real, don't try to put that on me. I ain't going. So in the 4 months, I basically thought I was just losing everything. I hurt so bad. I cried so hard. I would talk to him, and he would just be like, "Oh, we're gonna be fine. We're gonna work out right now." what I'm doing is just what I need to do, and if you know what, go to hell. I'm sorry, point blank. You keep doing what you're doing. Eventually, everything that you've ever done to anybody, you're gonna get caught up with. Believe that in some form of fashion. So I basically have cut off all kind of communication from Facebook, from texting, from phone calls, from anything. I have nothing for him, nothing to say to him. So since, like I said, since the relationship is over, basically I've gotten a job, I've gotten my own place now, and I got me a car, and I have money in my pocket every payday. When I was with him, I was broke all the time. So it kills me to know that I got at least 40, 50, $60 in my, maybe 100 sometimes, in my pocket to tie me over to my next payday. But one thing I'll share before I run out of time. Um, there was this guy that I used to date back in '91 when I went to college, and he was actually the first guy I met when I got to the school. And but I was involved with somebody who was still in high school, and so I didn't. I mean, I met him. He was cool, but I was like, I got a boyfriend. So he's like, all right, well, if that don't work out, holler at me, whatever. And I'm thinking, like, I'm in love. Okay, I've been with this dude for like a year. I'm like in love, whatever. Well, the dude that I had been dating, he cheated on me too. So he cheated on me. I had been in school maybe a month, maybe two. That's the first semester. So like almost going into like I would say probably around October, November. I ran into the guy again, and we hit it off. We kicked it. We had a good time. No sex involved. And then we started dating. And he was like the best boyfriend I ever had in my life. That's why I say I can count it on one hand. He never called me out my name. He never mentally, physically, or emotionally abused me. Actually, he was the best boyfriend I ever had in my life. And by the second semester, things was kind of crazy, and he left and moved to Chicago. And he asked me to go with him, but being 19, I was scared. I had a baby at home, didn't know what to think. I was like, no, I better stay. I better stay here. I love you. I cried and everything. And he left. Well, a few years passed. I got out of school, went to beauty school, and he found me. Maybe about 2 years had passed, and he was flying out the next day, and I was like, oh my God, like, okay, I haven't seen you in like 2 years, and I've been thinking about you all this time. I mean, because even the relationships after him were horrible. I mean, it's relevant. And we hung out that night, and it was a playground across the street from his cousin's apartments, and we played on the playground, and then we laid down and looked at the stars, and we just talked, and he was like, I think if we had stayed together, we'd be married by now. And I believe that. And I cried that whole night. And that was the first night that we ever made love. Ever. And it meant so much because my heart was like totally there, and I knew that he cared about me. But the sad part was he left and we had to go back to Chicago, and I was still in Arkansas. So several years have passed, at least 16, at least. And I've been looking for him and looking for him and looking for him. I tell that story all the time because it's like the one thing that lets me know that there is someone who can genuinely love me. And just so happened I was cutting his friend's hair or whatever, and he had this little thing, I think it's called Be Verified. And so, like, I had tried everything from Facebook, Twitter, whatever, could never find this guy. Um, MyLife.com, everything. Never could find him all these years. So when the guy showed me to Be Verified, I was like, So I put his name in there, and oh my God, Conway, Arkansas, where I went to school, it was like the first address that popped up. I was like, oh my God, I think I found him. And let me hear him tell a story because my time gonna run out. So needless to say, I ran into his cousin on Facebook because her name was one of the relatives listed, and it was him. And she relayed the message to him, and we talked for the first time yesterday. But my heart was really broken because he's married with children. But we're still cool. But I'm gonna go. Holla holla. Your girl diversify.